All right. So y'all had a conversation about it prior to it, right? Like this is what you were gonna do. If he agreed to it, she's already moving forward with it, right? She's gonna stick to her guns and do what it is.
He
So
didn't. He
at
didn't
that
agree to
point,
it.
huh?
He didn't agree to it.
Yes,
I
he did.
thought I thought she articulated that he
No,
agreed
she
with
said
it.
he did.
That he was like half-heartedly, he was half-heartedly there, but
Yeah,
he did not disagree.
he didn't
Right? That would have
disagree.
been a right. So that if he understands that you're pursuing it and he's not actively trying to stop you, then you would expect that person's going to support your decision. So at that point, it's like, all right, go ahead and do it.
Well, you went
He
wrong.
should have been he should have been more assertive. He should have either had the cojones to say, look, we either doing this or we not. But you make the decision as a man. You don't like what the fuck is that? That doesn't really work. That's not communication, right?
So that she
It's
had
and
waited.
it's passive.
She
No,
should have waited.
only because he agreed. Even if it was half-heartedly agreeing, he
Didn't.
nevertheless
Okay.
agreed. Once he agreed, you
He
stick to the
saw the
script.
house. He was pissed.
All right, y'all. Let's get Key in there. Key, what are your thoughts about it?
What she said was that when the conversation initiated, is that he said, go ahead and do it. He started to withdraw during the process. That's not on her if she takes his word. She asked him, she's already expressed that she's open, communicates clearly, explicitly. So, and that's why we're going to circle back to manipulation. That's why I said it's a manipulation. Manipulation doesn't always have to be in your face, like some type of cartoon thing where it's very exaggerated. They know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes people manipulate and don't even realize they're manipulating. For him to tell her that after she explicitly asks, what are we going to do about the house situation? He says, go ahead with an internal expectation of what she's supposed to do. And then when she does not meet that expectation,
You
i.e. what
complain
Dark
about it?
said, wait, because that's what he really wanted. Now he has resentment. Now he's mad. Now he has an attitude when the deed's done. But on the other hand, she had that issue too. I think they were both doing that to each other because at the beginning she was saying, I was submissive after we got married. That's when I started to align myself with the way that he lives. But she did that not off the strength of just doing it. She did it with an internal expectation of what he was supposed to reciprocate. If that's not clearly communicated, then the other person fails this task that they didn't even know they had. And now
Yep.
she has resentment against him. So they both did it to each other. And it is a manipulation, whether it was overt or not. In this case, I believe it's covert.
Mine was intent. I was arguing intent. But yeah, I think what
It
intent.
was a setup. They were setting each
Whether
other
it was
up.
intentional or not. I don't think they intentionally.
The core manipulation is when you alter behavior to get a desired outcome, but it's not like you could be authentic but still altering because you have ulterior motive. So and then another aspect of it is there's a power struggle that's not spoken about between the two of them. And a lot of times with couples and things, like these things don't come up like with one situation, or they don't come up explicitly. These things happen. I said this earlier. These things happen gradually. And that's why she's saying it's not one thing, it's not two things. There's several things. And she probably can't even remember all the things, but this started early on where they're both making compromises, but it's not for just the sheer intent of making this other person happy. It is with an expectation that they're going to receive something from this other person, and they don't receive it because this is not talked about. They're both expecting to achieve their own subjective goal. And then when the other person fails, now it doesn't work. Now the relationship fails.
I think honestly though, I think she would have been, I think they would have been okay because she did change herself for him, right? And I mean, I can say that's admirable. You change yourself for him. And I'm willing to bet that she would have stayed that way had it not been. I'm gonna keep saying this. I think the house was the catalyst for her to believe, like, damn, I did all this, you let me do it, and now you have a problem with it. I think his resentment towards her decision making was what was the straw that broke the camel back. And I think with that, I think she, and Bo, correct me if I'm lying. I think she probably would have been submissive to this day, where she would have rocked with him, even if she made the decision on the house. And he was cool with her decision because she said, we need to buy a house. And he said, do what you want.
She didn't
And
say
she went
earlier, but I mean, she's right here. Like you can say if we're wrong, but
Yeah,
earlier
like-
you did say that you felt like you became too submissive because he wasn't giving anything back. He was just taking, and then adopted this new persona. Like I'm the leader. You know, I don't have to answer to you. You answer to me, and I do what I want.
I don't think that I was too submissive. I just knew that I just know that I was. And him making the decisions on his own was just the green light for me.
I forgot about that part. I forgot about that part.
Yeah. So, him making decisions, buying equipment, doing all of the things, making all of these different decisions without me just set the precedent for me, because for me, when things just have to get done, they just have to get done. If I need something, I just need something.
Real quick,
And so generally,
real quick, did all those decisions he start to make happen before or after y'all bought the house?
After the house. Tit for tat.
before.
Oh, before.
Huh.
See?
Before. So that's what I'm saying, like this precedent that was set. I tend to observe, and so if you are making decisions without consulting me, that is how I'm assuming this relationship works. Now, if I am having conversations with you before I do anything, but you are not doing that for me, I am assuming that that's how this relationship works. However, when it came to this thing right here, absolutely not. There is absolutely no way that I would ever make a decision on my own without consulting with my partner, because you have to live here.
Did he put
And
up a fight?
it is disrespectful to go and buy a piece of property where someone has to live without consulting them. So I did not do that.
Yeah.
But I'm a business owner. My grandfather taught me how to how to take care of myself. My mother taught me how to take care of myself. So I am well capable of making all of these decisions. However, I will never do that to my partner. So I had these conversations with him.
Quick question.
I looped him in.
Did he put up a fight?
Quick question.
Did he put up a fight when you filed?
No.
I got a quick
He
question.
was already checked out.
During the decision process.
You know what? By me knowing that, I think that he might and blatantly was behaving like this. So that you sort of to the lady's point who left, she thought maybe he was what is it called? Sabotage?
Self-sabotaging.
He may have been checked. Like if you're saying he may have been checked out long before, he may have been behaving like this. I gotta get out of this.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna make
after
this woman's life
after
a
the house
living.
thing happened,
How many years was y'all in after the house, before the house?
Huh?
How many years were y'all together before you bought the house?
3 years.
Yeah, y'all divorced in y'all 4th year, right?
I moved out after our 4th year, and then I filed. Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to bet.
Right? I mean, did you guys want to get? Did he want to get married?
Yeah.
But you got to remember, like they went. All right. So I do have a question. So during these decisions that you were making, right? When you consult, you said you consulted them on every decision that you made, right?
Initially, yes.
Not that car.
Hold on, wait. Initially.
Oh yeah, no.
How often did he get upset with the decision that you made after you made the decision?
Before the house?
Before the house.
Oh, never. I'm telling you. So the house thing was the thing. It wasn't me buying the house. It was the insecurity surrounding where the money came from for the house.
Yeah. I know.
The
I know.
renovation, where the money came from for the renovations for the house, where the money came from for, all of the things from the house, because I had an inheritance to pull from.
Right.
So that was the thing. And my grandfather made sure we were straight.
Did his
All
friends
of
talk
us.
shit about him? Say, man, how you gonna let your woman put you in the house?
No, never.
You didn't hear it.
No, that never happened. My grandfather was not that type of person.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm be honest with you. If it was me, I'd be embarrassed to go to the barbershop or LA Fitness and be like, yeah, my wife just bought.
Oh,
Ain't nobody
yeah.
gonna
He would
talk
never
to-
do that.
Hold on, let me finish. I live with my I live in my wife's grandmother's my wife granddad house, and then after we moved out of there, she bought a house with her and her. No,
That's
no,
ego, bro. That's
no,
ego.
sir.
That'd be that's just straight ego, because ain't no way you gonna be.
Damn right.
Nobody will sit there and look at you crazy if
What?
your wife got an inheritance.
Now,
y'all
I
bought
think
property off of that.
I think
That's
you know
just
what,
silly.
Sweetie, you right.
tripping,
It is
bro.
ego, but I think that there's a large portion of men who would share that sentiment and be like, you know what? Nah, it's not something you're just going to disclose like that.
Nobody's
Especially,
gonna sit there. Not one person on this
It
panel would be
depends on
like,
what type
"Trev,
of rooms you in. It depends on what type of rooms you in, bro.
No,
Depends what type of
there
room
is
you
no
in.
room that your wife will buy a house with her inheritance, and she gives you decision making on a house, and you just opt out of the decision making. Now, if she told you what she was gonna do and you have to just eat it, yes. But if she said, "Hey, look, we got this inheritance money. Hey, babe, what house do you want us to get?" and you go and you pick out the house, ain't nobody gonna sit there and be like, "Man, dog, why you let her grandfather inheritance buy your house?" Nobody will look at that crazy.
First of all, that's a flex in any black community.
Is your
Like, in the
ex-husband
black
is your
community,
ex-husband a public
inheritance?
offender? Is your
It
ex-husband
was an
public offender?
inheritance.
Is your ex-husband public offender?
Nah.
What? No.
Because I'm telling you, they were clowning him for not exactly a similar thing, but he was falling in
They
line
would
on that.
clown him for being insecure. That's what they would clown him
No,
for.
Will went deeper on it. He exposed him.
They would clown
Man,
her husband
stay
for being
home.
insecure. That nigga came to us talking about, "Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. My wife got all this money and I can't even." And she like, man, we would clown him for like, bro, if you don't go around and make some fucking decisions, y'all got a windfall that you don't normally get from nobody, and you gonna sit here and bitch about it?
No, me personally, but I'm saying to each his own.
If
That's
you-
why I
if-
said me
Bruce, I
personally.
would clown you if your wife got an inheritance and you started bitching about the money.
And
I don't think any of us think you would.
nobody
No, we
knew.
probably ain't gonna do that. I probably ain't even gonna tell y'all
I'm
no
not.
shit
I'm
like
definitely.
that.
I'm not gonna do that.
Nobody,
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm
nobody
saying.
knew where the
It's
money
not something
came
that comes
from.
up.
But
That ain't
us.
even. I'm not even proud to talk about that.
But if nobody knew where the money came from, nobody knew. The only people that knew were my mom, my grandfather, and the both of us, because those are the only people that were involved. No one knew that where the money came from. They just knew that we bought a house. That's the
I would've
thing.
known.
Like, I don't go around like my granddaddy bought us a house. I don't do that.
You told me he didn't have enough money to buy a house. I would have saw that house and I'm like, I wonder who bought that house.
No, you wouldn't have, man. That's
You
just
bought
you
a
being an
house?
asshole. You would just be
The
an
first thing
asshole.
I'm gonna say, Trey, damn, you bought the house? How much you pay for the house?
A detector test
They're
determined
gonna be like,
a lie.
You not gonna walk up to no
Trey
man and ask him
gonna be
if he
like,
got his house. What part of the-
shit. I bought that motherfucker. Trey gonna be like, yeah, I bought that motherfucker. Tell you, I know how, bro. We gotta be real. We know how niggas did.
So you would have clowned this man if he said, "Yeah, her grandfather we left us with an inheritance."
No, I don't judge nobody like that, man. You know, I let people do their
Listen,
thing.
I didn't say I would have clowned him. I didn't say I would have clowned him. I said I am not going to go around. I'm not going to go around.
Nobody's going to disclose it though.
I'm not disclosing that my wife is housing me. I'm not going to disclose that my wife's grandfather housing me as a grown ass man.
Your grandfather isn't housing you.
He did in a cut. Am I lying, Bohemian?
Yeah.
What?
He did.
Did your grandfather not house a grown ass man and his wife?
You said
inadvertently,
you can
sure.
put it like that, but no, I don't look at it like that.
I didn't say you looked at it like that.
Listen, I would understand if they were destitute and they couldn't afford a house.
He couldn't afford. He married you. He could not afford to put you in a lifestyle.
He didn't have to. That's just stupid to do that.
But that's not what I'm asking her. This man who married you, could
You
he
said he
afford
couldn't afford it. Yes, he could afford it. She just said he could afford it. But who would move
So he
out of
could
a house
afford to
that's
buy a
free?
house.
He was working, right? It's not like he wasn't working. It's not like he wasn't making any money. But were we prepared in that moment to buy a house, like to just up and buy a house? No, we could have been prepared to buy my grandfather's condo for the amount that he was giving it to us. But to go out and find a brand new house, no, couldn't afford that.
And they were supposed to buy the condo. He drug his feet. They were
And
supposed
there
to buy
was
the
going to be
condo.
no down payment on that.
That too, and I think I stated that too. When he wasn't being assertive, when he didn't take a sense of urgency to go and buy the condo like your grandfather was kind of asking him to do. I don't take a liking to that either. That's you stated yourself. That's procrastination.
Yeah, that is what I really fought.
Yeah, but you got to understand the trickle effect when you move like that as a man. You cannot afford to do. I would say this right here on the record. If he would have bought your damn grandfather's house, none of this shit wouldn't even never happen.
Actually, they would have 2 houses because she would have used the inheritance as a windfall to get some other shit, then they would be better off.
That's not what I'm asking her. If he would have pulled the trigger on your grandfather's condo when the market was down, none of this shit would have happened.
I think we would have been better off. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. It's the little things like this that are critical.
I don't know.
If you don't move as a man, it could be the end of your marriage.
That ain't even little. That's pretty fucking big. When you
it
don't
adds
pull the
up.
trigger on
That was major. And like
that
she
was
said,
extremely major. Because they basically lost money. Because think about it, if he would have pulled the trigger on the house, they could buy that house on their own.
Tens of thousands.
They was in a position to buy that house right then and there. No payment. All they had to pay was taxes. And then the grandfather would have left her an inheritance. They actually lost tens of thousands of dollars because he didn't
hundreds
of thousands.
Because their house would have been worth
because the equity went up on that condo.
Yeah,
they could have got a HELOC. They could have got a
mortgage. What mine is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So these are things that you cannot afford. These are mistakes as a man. You can't afford that. That's
a stupid mistake.
That's a super L.
You know what? That's where you should have pulled the fucking trigger. You should have pulled the trigger.
Didn't I tell you? House. That's why I said wait. I said I would have wait. I would have never done that shit. I would have made his ass activate. Because I said, you gonna be my husband? Pause. You gonna activate for me. That man inside of you is gonna have to activate. I am not finna go out here and be the man. And I'm trying to tell women they have to stop doing that. Because you save yourself a lot of time and babies and shit if you make sure this man activate early, and you can get yourself, if you have to get out, you can get out then. Because maybe, I would argue that maybe, just maybe, you probably wouldn't have used your inheritance as fast as you did if you would have got out of the situation with a non-assertive man earlier. You probably would have made better use and the more calculated use with the inheritance you had. I would argue, in fact, your grandfather would have just told you to go back to the condo and put the inheritance and go use it to open up purchase a property and rent it out and work on some more money or some shit.
Yeah, they would have had the money to actually do.
No, she alone would have been able to do that.
Yeah, fair enough, but once you start
now
buying,
she in that motherfucker.
Yeah. That was an asinine decision on. I'm gonna be honest, that was an asinine decision on both of y'all part. Y'all should have pulled the trigger when y'all had the chance to. Man,
she didn't have good leadership.
But I was trying to be that, I was trying to let him move, like let him be the man and do the thing, right? I presented him with the opportunity, and I was allowing him the space to move. And once that opportunity fell through because of him not moving fast enough or being very assertive, when the next opportunity came.
No, you know what? No, Bruiser, you are full of shit. I'm gonna explain to you how. She did exactly what you said she should have done, and it cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars because she sat in her femininity and let this nigga drag his feet for 2 years on that house, on her grandfather condo. She let him be the man and waited on him to make a decision. And it wound up because if she would have put her foot in his ass and said, "We buying this goddamn house," and she got more assertive, they wouldn't actually be in the position that they in. But she rested in her femininity and drug her feet.
How was resting in her femininity putting her foot in his ass?
That's what I said she did do that. When she did it, it cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars because he didn't pull the trigger on the house. She rested and waited on him to make the decision, and then he didn't make the decision, and then they were forced out the house that they could have got for dirt cheap, and wound up having to use not only the money that they had on hand, but also her inheritance to buy another house. And she followed your instructions. She rested and said, "I'm gonna let him be the man. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna leave it up to him." And he drug his feet for 3 years, and they never got the house at a steal like they were supposed to.
She didn't wait.
I did. That's how we lost the condo. I was waiting on him to do the thing. I was waiting on him.
I get it. You waited for a certain period, but you didn't continue to maintain your femininity. You said
first of all, one thing I am 100%
she
of the
couldn't even
time
argue that she would have never been home. I don't know why you went to the extreme and said she would have been homeless.
They was losing their house.
She would have been with her grandfather got all this money, every nigga in the world can't touch.
Oh,
she would have been right there in the damn basement.
What you're saying is she should have said, so basically instead of her making the decision on the house, she's gonna say, "I'm going to go stay with my grandfather."
Yes, I'm not us.
I couldn't go stay with my grandfather. My grandfather was staying with my mama. There was no one to go stay with.
So you was used to getting niggas that stay with women. So you went and got a husband that stay with them. God damn. There go the pattern right there. No, I'm just kidding with you.
I'm just. They wouldn't have had a house if she would have continued to wait.
My grandfather was giving us their condo. He moved in with my mother after my grandmother passed.
Yeah, you would have went home with your grandfather, and your grandfather would have been like, "Oh, hold on, your husband can't come live up in here. You need to go get a house."
Her grandfather sold the house, so she would have. She had nowhere to go because her grandfather moved in with her mother. There was no space.
How many rooms that house got with your grandmother and your grandfather?
My grandmother and my grandfather, or my mother.
Hold on, your grandfather moved with your mother.
Yeah, that he moved out of the condo.
So how many rooms does your mother have in the house that your grandfather moved in?
They took up every room. It was a 3-bedroom house, and he took up 2 of those rooms.
Probably had a CPAP machine in one of them.
No.
Why we acting like it ain't no such thing as an apartment?
Why would you stay in an apartment if you could go and buy a house in a very good housing market for less than the rent? Why would you spend money on that? Why would you just not make the investment?
I am not buying a house. If I'm the woman, I'm not gonna say that. You shouldn't be doing these things. That's all I'm saying.
I'm a fully grown adult. Adults should do things.
Your husband should be doing those things.
I am an adult, wasn't just like him.
I know he wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
So what was she supposed to do?
So hold on.
You told her what she should be doing, but
I just told you what she's supposed to do. She's supposed
I had to put my glasses on so I can look at you, Darwin. What is it about me being a fully grown adult says that I cannot make the decisions that I need to make that the other person who is supposed to be a leader is not making? What part of that am I? What makes you think I'm not supposed to be a fully grown adult and be capable of making decisions?
You conflating what I'm saying. I didn't say you wasn't supposed to be a fully grown adult. You can be a fully grown adult and wait in your femininity to make this man activate.
How? Please make that make sense. You heard everything she said. Tell me how that makes sense.
And waste money?
And do
what? We're wasting money on an apartment.
You've been wasting money.
So wait and do what? What was she supposed to do?
Wait for him to take charge.
And do what? What
were they going to buy a house?
So he's not buying a house. So what are they supposed to do?
This is the most.
She's supposed to wait for him to activate and go buy a house.
That doesn't make sense, bro. We live in the real world.
It does make sense.
You said basically go be homeless.
No, he is not going to let them be homeless.
Right.
That's the extreme.
Oh.
So how long was she supposed to wait? They was losing their
Until
house.
he go buy the damn house.
How long? How
Oh,
long
dear
did you
God.
have between the moment you bought the house, right? Between the moment you was closing on the house and the moment y'all was gonna lose the previous house, how much time did you have in between those 2 days?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? Say that one more
From the
time.
moment your grandfather sold the house that y'all had to go. This is D-Day, you gotta go. And the time y'all closed on the house, how much time was between those 2 moments?
Closed on the house in
What
June.
is that?
So
Legit.
he sold it by the end of the year.
So 6
So-
months.
Roughly. I think that it was before the end of the year. It wasn't the end of the year. It was before the end of the year sometime. I think that it might have been in October somewhere,
October.
So
if I'm
y'all
not
would
mistaken.
4 months. So you had 4 months. And how long did you wait? You waited 4 months or you had up to 4 months?
What, before I went and looked for the
Before you went and
house?
bought the house.
Yeah, no, it was a year.
No, I'm talking about between the time that you had to get at the time that
she bought the house 4 months before they had to get out their grandfather's house.
so you had 4 months before you was gonna get evicted.
If she
Let me
wouldn't have
finish
bought the
what
house,
I'm
y'all would have
doing.
had up to 4 months.
Yeah. So
You had a
okay.
4 month period to where you had to go search, or before you had to search for a house. Did
No.
you exhaust the whole?
No,
said no?
what she's saying is they closed. So if they closed on their house in June, their grandfather sold his condo 4 months later.
Yeah, he
So-
couldn't put it on the market
You
until
still
we got
had
out.
4 more months.
No, he couldn't put it on the market until we moved out.
Okay,
He had
see?
to,
There
we
you go.
had to go. He was trying to
Who was paying for the condo?
so he was paying the taxes and insurance. The condo was paid off.
Oh my
It was
God.
paid for. He was paying for the taxes and insurance. I was paying every other bill.
Who was paying the mortgage?
There is no mortgage.
There was no mortgage.
Oh, there was no
It was
mortgage. There
free
was
and
just property
clear.
tax and insurance and
That's
the
it.
utilities.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and he can't put it on the market until y'all get out.
Right. He had to get the place ready to sell. So he couldn't
Exactly.
do any of that with us there.
It doesn't go on the market until he activates.
So
yeah, my
you
grandfather
don't-
wasn't going for that.
And you just corroborated that you wouldn't be homeless. So we can take that off of the fucking board.
No,
No.
her
My
grandfather's
grandfather
not-
was not going for that. He needed to get that
Exactly.
place ready to sell. So we had to go ASAP.
I know he wasn't going for that. What I'm saying, he would have had to activate. You
But he
activated.
didn't. No,
But
he
he
didn't.
didn't.
He didn't
I
activate.
know
Grandfather-
he didn't, but I'm saying if
Grandfather
he would have
said y'all
waited,
gotta go.
you would have had to make him. I'm saying you would have to make him activated by waiting and patient. And your family is saying, baby, I'm not gonna do it. Because I can argue right now, Bohemian. He didn't never come to you and say, girl, you need to hurry up and go look for a house. Did he say that?
My grandfather?
No, your man.
No.
Okay, then. He never gave her a sense of urgency saying, you need to hurry up and go look for a house because your grandfather said we got to get up out of here.
No.
He never said any of that, right?
That was me.
Exactly. You activated. He
Because
should have
her-
activated. You
but he
should have took
didn't.
your sweet ass time and made his ass get a sense of urgency in his ass and activate.
That is
No, that's
stupid.
just not who I am. I can't sit around
Exactly.
and
I
just-
know it ain't.
That's just
No.
not
You're
smart.
masculine. That's what I'm trying to tell
No.
you.
I'm not
Bruiser, that's just
masculine.
not
I'm
smart.
extremely feminine. I am
That's not
extremely
smart.
feminine.
So
But I'm-
the
I
grandfather
am
already
What you
smart.
gonna
said it.
learn, Bohemian? What you gonna learn in life? If you keep doing the work that the man's supposed to do in your life, he'll never activate.
I'm doing the
He
work
will
that
sit on
adults are
he will
supposed
sit on
to
his
do.
ass and let you be the man. You cannot let a man do that.
So they
I
was
was
gonna be-
doing the work that a fully grown adult is supposed to do.
You could call it fully grown adult all you want. I get it. You don't like the masculine, you don't like the gender, whatever.
Bruiser,
I get it.
Bruiser.
I sense that. But
Bruiser,
I'm telling you about the research I've been doing, my experience, by the people I'm dealing with. If you keep letting the man not play his role, you're gonna find yourself in this situation again in the future. I'm
No,
telling
they
you.
would have. That doesn't.
And I
make
think that's
any
why you
sense,
said you
bro.
wanted a partner or some shit like that.
There is no activate. the grandfather came in and told him, y'all gotta go, and he didn't activate. That should have been his activation point. He should have said, oh shit, we gotta go. He never said that.
So when your grandfather said, hey, y'all to go, what was his immediate response?
I don't know.
He drug his fucking feet. He drug his feet.
It wasn't really any. It wasn't. Well, I guess we got to just go on. And it was just like, well.
I'm telling you, you gotta watch that. I'm telling you, you wasn't supposed to be.
It was. I can tell you this.
When you did that, you took the load off. You took the load, that the responsibility as a man supposed to have, as a man in a relationship, as the man. You took his manhood off his shoulders when you didn't wait. You activated for him. You shouldered the load. He didn't even flinch at what your grandfather said. You should have just sat there like, well, what you gonna do, nigga? You should have did that and waited for it. And if he didn't activate it, you should have just fucking packed your shit up and got the hell on. And you should have never went any further from there. Should have never went any further from there.
All right, Darwin. I'll agree with that.
You should have never went in. You should have nipped that shit in the butt right there. This man don't want to be a man in his relationship. That's it.
Because when you put it like that, I should have just packed up and left and not went any further than that. Now that I can agree with, because I would have been homeless. That should have been your exit right there.
This man don't want to be a man. Who the fuck am I married to? I'm out. You should have been gone from there. You should have never went forward and bought a house and living all this misery and buying cars and shit and doing all this tit-for-tat and bullshit. No,
it wasn't a tit for tat. I really did need a new car, and I just went and bought it. Like I needed that car. I didn't just buy it. Huh?
She would have still wound up buying a house.
Yes, I still would have done.
Because guess what? She would have left him and used her inheritance to buy a house.
Yeah, that still would happen.
I didn't say it still wouldn't happen. So I'm saying you would save time. You would save all that time. You would have been able to exit that at that point.
She exited in less than a year.
Okay.
She exited
all I'm saying, regardless of what you would have done after that, I'm saying it wasn't even supposed to go any further from that point.
So, Darwin, you think that would have been a grounds for divorce?
That would have been grounds for divorce. This man don't want to be a man.
Therapy or counseling.
That could have went and got counseling. I don't even know if we didn't even get to that part.
We did.
Y'all went to counseling?
Jesus. After the house was already bought. You talking about before then. They ain't got no time for counseling when the eviction notice is on the door. You ain't got time for counseling.
After the fact, after we bought the house, I suggested counseling. So
Nah, I would have suggested counseling whenever he wasn't being a man from the jump.
Oh, I did. Before the process started, I actually did, because when I saw that, when I noticed it, I was like, yeah, we need to go see somebody. His response was, we don't need no counseling. All right.
You talking about when he drugged this? So this was when he was dragging his feet on the house?
Yeah, I knew it then.
The house buying process, or before y'all got evicted?
But yeah, this was before. We were
that's right. Y'all closed on the house. Yeah, y'all closed on the house. But like the moment, so this happened when y'all were supposed to close on the condo, and he drug his feet, right?
Mm-hmm. And I suggested counseling, and he rejected it. He didn't accept it until after we bought the house. I saw it coming. I did.
Did you meet his relatives? Did you meet his relatives, like his father and all that?
Say that again.
Did you meet his relatives, like his father and all that?
Yeah.
What does father say about that?
Oh, I don't know what he said about it.
Damn.
I guarantee you his father was pissed. I guarantee you his father was pissed. That was stupid. That whole decision was dumb. You not pulling the trigger on the condo and then you wind up spending more money than you should have was absolutely dumb.
I mean, I might have not known all that.
Man, you somebody tell you all you gotta do is buy this.
I think I would have been embarrassed to tell my father that.
Yeah, that was, and I would definitely been embarrassed to tell him that.
His father didn't talk much, so I don't know what happened.
Would have lost even more.
You said what?
Because the market, the potential for them to lose even more is great too, because the housing market was not going lower. it probably already bottomed out, so it's just going to get more expensive,
Mhm.
which they did. If she's saying like
they
somebody said,
crazy.
they did. So it wasn't really the worst look. Sure, they missed out on that first individual deal, but it was nothing she could have done about it. She was trying to wait for homeboy. He wasn't really with it. She's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna miss out on these prices. I'm gonna get this investment and keep it
Did
going.
you ever ask him? Did you
In
ever
the
ask,
neighborhood I got in it, man, I had to move.
did you
Huh?
ever ask this man, hey, do you want me to wait on you? Is there something that you want me to do? Did you ever say that?
That's not who I am.
Damn, dog.
Femininity. Femininity is important in these situations.
Now that I do agree
We
with
can't have the
Yeah.
conversation about femininity and masculinity when it's time to handle business. Business got to be handled. It doesn't matter who does it. Business needs to be
Well,
handled. And I'm a facts over feelings type of person when it comes to handling business.
You
It's
have to give
perfectly
him
fine.
that.
Like
You
I
gotta at
have
least
to have the
communicate.
conversation with you as my partner, but facts over feelings when when it's time for business to be taken care of, we got to stop all the bullshit. We got to stop all these feminine, masculine
That is
things.
so
When
bad.
it's time to do the thing, you got to do the thing.
no,
And I'm
Bruiser.
just a person that
This is
takes
your
care of business.
husband.
No,
I just
Bruiser,
do.
you been trying to hold that nigga accountable all night, and finally we all agree with you. That nigga was dragging his feet. He fucked up. There, you can't. That woman, she ain't supposed to try to hold.
You
his
just
hand.
saying what I said. You just
Exactly. I'm finally agreeing with you that motherfucker fucked up, and she ain't supposed to have to hold his hand through that bullshit.
I didn't say she had to hold his hand. I said, did she ever say, hey, babe, you know we got to get up out of here. Are you handling this? Do you got this? Because I'm thinking about going to go do it. I'm asking her that they have that conversation.
Oh, when you put it like that, yeah.
And what did he say?
What you said before
Did he say?
wasn't that.
Did he say, "Nah, babe, I got it"?
Yeah, he said, "Nah, let's do this." No. And then nothing. Because when the process actually happened, because he was dragging his feet, and I'm trying to figure out, like, is this something that are we doing this? What do you want to, what are you doing?
What did he say?
He said, yeah, well, let's do, like, we got to buy a house. Let's just, and so when I'm looking for houses, I'm talking about during the process. Up until then, I didn't think that there was a problem. I just thought he was slow. Like, you just moving slow.
So you didn't assume that he was looking for a house?
So he wasn't. He was not.
So
Did you ask
him? I say, baby, you said let's do this, but why are you not looking for a house? Did you say anything like that?
No.
Come on,
I
Bruiser.
sat in the bed. Hold on. I sat in the bed. I got my computer. I said, hey, let's look at some houses. Let's see what's out there. I was like, and I would get the computer and, hey, sit right beside him, computer facing both of us. Let's look for this. Let's do this. And I would scroll through. What do you think about this? Do you want me to set up?
He was sitting over there talking about,
visit your house and pulled your internet out.
She was sitting over, that nigga was sitting over there, well, I mean, yeah, it's all right. Yeah, that's cool, I guess. All right, you want to go see the house with me? No, I'm all right, you got it, baby.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, but
she tried, Bruiser. She tried. That nigga was dragging his feet,
with
bro.
him, and I'm.
I get you, Swing. He damn sure did drag his feet, but I'm just saying,
dragging his feet, bro.
I'm just not a fan of that.
Man,
I did all I could do as a feminine woman. I tried to passively do it, and it just took too long.
If you can do it all over again, would you have bought that house?
Hell yeah.
So, Bruiser,
in this neighborhood for the price I got it from.
Let me, Bruiser. I got it. So I get it, Bruiser. But I'm trying to give it to you from a perspective of when life is life. Like if eviction notice is on the door, and the person that you with is dragging their feet, but y'all gotta go. You ain't got time to sit there and try to make that person understand and realize that they gotta move. You have to start moving, because if they're not moving, I'm not about to be on the streets for your goofy ass. That's when life is life. I get it from your perspective.
Was there ever an eviction notice on the door?
There was. I mean, there was no
No.
eviction notice on the
In
door, but
this scenario, that's not
he's
even
trying to sell the house.
logical. This is a paid off house, and he can't put it on the market.
So you're gonna handcuff your grandfather until your grandfather's just gonna say, "Get the fuck out of my house."
And what he gonna do?
He
He's
was
gonna,
pressuring.
You know what?
He was pressuring the both
That's
of
what
us.
I would have preferred. I would have preferred another man come in that house.
Now that
I tell this man to fucking activate.
I promise you,
if I'm your grandfather, I'm gonna look that motherfucker right in his eyes. I'm gonna say, you better get off your ass and go look for a motherfucking house, and you got X amount of days to get the fuck out.
No,
and he would have his ass would have activated. That's what you should have waited on.
But then at that point, now
waited on.
First and foremost, I'm sure your grandfather was already looking at him funny. But like your grandfather would have looked at him extra funny if he got to sit here and fight this nigga out of his damn house, bro. I'm telling you, your grandfather probably. If I'm the grandfather, and I already told y'all, like, hey, look, I'm trying to sell this house. Here's your inheritance. Go ahead and do y'all thing. And then this nigga start dragging his feet to get out my house. I don't want to, like, that's just unnecessary bad blood. He wasn't doing bruising. The point is, the reality is he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. And regardless of the situation, this problem would have arisen anyway. There ain't no activation. He wouldn't have been activated because she would have felt some type of way if him and her grandfather beefing because this nigga's kicking him out the house. And now he walking around the house with the stank, I eat ass look on his face, mad at her grandfather for some shit he's supposed to do.
Okay, who cares? That's part of life. Get off your ass. Ain't nobody care about your feelings.
Also, what's part of life is getting
nobody
shit
care
done
about your
before
feelings.
got to force you out the damn house.
Out of the house. Activate, man.
You should have activated when he was
I promise you. If I'm willing to bet that he probably never had that experience. And he maybe needed that in his life. He needed that moment, and you took it away from him because you picked his balls up for him. And you put them between your legs, and you went out. You went out to the subdivisions. You should have left his balls right there with him.
No,
and let your father make him pick his own balls up. That's what we want to see.
That's doing the most, though, man. Like you,
that's doing the absolute most.
You look to a man.
That's what we need. That's what men need. Y'all keep saying we doing the most, but y'all got to understand these are the reasons why these women can't trust us.
No, I don't disagree with you. But I wouldn't expect a woman to sit there and wait on this man to drop his.
He's supposed to be leading. He's supposed to be leading at that point. So when you're not leading, then the female is bound to do.
Somebody got to do something.
All types
did your grandfather ever ask you, Boheme? Damn, baby, why did you have to go out and buy the house? What's up with you?
No. Because he wasn't concerned with that. The only thing he was concerned with was the fact that I had a house.
The grandfather was saying, "Get the hell out of my house." That's all he was concerned with.
That nigga just wanted you out of there so he can get away from your damn mama.
In the grand
out of your mama, he was like, "I don't care who go buy."
Think about it from the grandfather's perspective. Think about it from y'all already got the money to buy a house. There ain't no worries. Here's your inheritance.
He just
go buy y'all house.
Okay.
I'm trying to sell this house. Here's your money. Go buy y'all house. Y'all good.
Yeah.
If he would have drug his feet in that man's house, that is just dumb for a man. The grandfather shouldn't have to do all that because he already put the blessing right in front of you.
Already did drag his feet. What you talking about? That already happened.
Right, but there's a difference.
All I'm saying is his grandfather would have had to go down there and speak to him. Your grandfather never had to. Your grandfather on the record, Boheme.
Now I don't
know.
Your
grandfather never had to go pull him to the side and say, "What's going on?"
So to be fair, I don't know what separate conversations they had. I'm not privy to. My grandfather, if he did it, did not let me know about it. But my grandfather, in the grandest scheme of things, is not going to waste his time having a conversation about something when the only thing he wants to do is just make sure I'm okay. As long as I'm cool, he cool. And so did he want him to do more? Absolutely. But my grandfather is just not going to make a big deal of it because his responsibility is me.
And
he would have made a big deal of it. He would have came marching down there. listen to some damn James Brown. Get up, get on,
Get on out, and get up and get on out. Get
he
your
would have
feet
got out
on.
that motherfucking Chevy Caprice or whatever the hell he is, and he would have been like, "Hey, let me speak to your man." Came in there with that shotgun or some shit.
Man, nah, man.
I'm gonna give
I,
you.
I would say this: his ball, like you talking about, he needed to pick his own balls up. That was a wrap on that, bro. That motherfucker, it was a wrap on that.
I mean, it in the situation, it's fault to be had on both sides. I apologize for my fault in everything after the fact. We sat down, we had a long conversation. I apologize for everything that I had a hand in because I thought that he deserved that. But in the grandest scheme of things, we just were not meant for one another. We just weren't. I mean, like, we can fight over the particulars or whatever, but yeah, I had a part in all of this as well.
Oh, but I got another twist.
I bet you this dude shoved his glasses up like this.
No.
I got a test question for you. I just want to test your masculinity. I'm sorry, your femininity. If you got a notice on your house from HOA that said, you know what? Your grass ain't getting cut. Your grass ain't been cut. It look horrible. Mm-hmm. You got 24 hours to get that damn grass cut. And your husband is in there on the couch watching motherfucking Tiger Woods put it in the hole. Oh. Mm-hmm. And he dragging his feet. That nigga. Oh. Come on, man. You fucking my whole shit up. So look, he's sitting on the couch. And they finna give y'all a fat ass fine. Come on, man. They finna give your ass a fat ass fine, right? Mm-hmm. Or you gonna sit there and say, fuck it, I'm gonna get this push lawnmower and do it myself. Or you gonna make that motherfucker activate?
I'm making him do it.
The people want to know, is the ex-husband remarried?
No.
Okay.
They're scheming on him.
There's a difference between fucking cutting the grass because you about to get a fine on the door and being put out your house.
We know, Sweeney. Come on, don't try to make it like I'm just testing. I just did a simple test. Damn, I could have went extreme.
Don't make them say go cut. They about to put a notice on the door. Go cut the grass. And probably, guess what? She would have probably made them pay the fine.
I'm not HOA cut the grass. Don't HOA cut the grass anyway?
How many of y'all really honestly?
Cut the grass.
How many of y'all expected her to say?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Where y'all at?
No, I ain't
gonna lie, boy. No disrespect, but I expected you to say I'm gonna get out there and
cut taking your money for.
No.
We got a big ass like pool. We paying for like
I had you wrong.
Pools and all types of bullshit.
Forgive me. I thought you was gonna be like,
it's mainly the pool.
No,
it's mainly the community pools. That's what most of our budget goes towards. And the only people that have to pay HOAs for grass cutting is the townhouses in our community. They're the only ones that got to pay like for grass cutting HOA. We don't pay HOA for that. But man,
we pay HOA, but we still got to cut our own shit.
Yeah, man, and then they tell you that you got to have your yard a certain way. Like like here's the fucked up part, right? So it's been very common in our community that these trees been dying. Not to no fault of any of the residents, these trees just ain't surviving. And these motherfuckers will come by and see your tree dead and tell you got to replace the tree. But meanwhile, you go out there because like there's the private property and then there's like the community property, right? All the trees on the community property dead as a doorknob. And they telling you got to replace the tree on your property. I was like, man, y'all some hoes for that shit.
No, not just cut the bitch down. You have to replace.
You have to replace it. Like,
the whole tree.
Up,
I had to replace
it and then put a brand new tree right there.
I had to replace it.
Damn. Yeah, that's why I would never, ever in life live in a place with HOA.
And these my neighbor across the street replaced their tree 3 times, bro. 3 times they had to replace the tree.
You gotta water it.
They got bad soil or some shit.
Oh, you gotta water it.
I don't know what. No, well, so
shit,
here's my theory. There's 2 things that I think that I noticed with trees, right? And I found this out because I was trying to figure out my yard when I was getting my yard and working my doing something with my sprinkler system. I was looking up how long you're supposed to water your grass and all of that. So what I found out was that one, when your tree is young, you're supposed to keep the roots exposed when you're watering it. And what they did for everybody's tree is they grabbed all this mulch and like piled it up around the base of the tree. So like all the trees where the roots were covered up with the mulch, all of them looked like they were either dying or growing funny.
It was killing.
And then they were killing the tree. And then also I think you can overwater the tree. And then some people probably wasn't watering their tree at all. So what I learned, that's why my tree survived. Even my tree was ripped up due to a storm that we had. And I was able to pull my tree back and put it back in the ground. And I just left the first thing I did was expose the roots. And then I made sure I watered it twice a week. And you only supposed to water it for the first year. And after that, you don't have to water it no more.
I'm curious, man. Key, whatever you would have done if that nigga was dragging his feet?
She would have bought the house.
You can't let it go.
She would have bought the house.
I just want to know her perspective. I just want to know what she would have done.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I think, I don't know, Darwin, your solution just is too cutthroat for me for marriage.
It's okay. I ain't gonna. I just want to know.
I'm really trying to think through my response because I just feel like there's so many things that were missing from that whole discussion.
Okay,
let's just assume that we talked it through.
She in this live, man.
Oh, okay.
No, let her get her point off and then end it. Damn, how you gonna do it like that?
Talk it through, and I actually did believe that he wanted me to go ahead and do that. I would have done it with the belief that that's what my husband wanted me to do.
But okay,
now
so I guess, I guess most women. I guess we could say most women would have done the same.
I mean, we're talking about your residence, like where you live, like.
Yeah,
that's what I said. Like you got to think of it from the perspective of life is life, and not necessarily from a perspective like this is like your life is moving as quickly as the decision needs to be made. Yeah. Like you ain't got time to be waiting on somebody just dragging their feet. Talking about, well, I don't know, man. I guess.
Yeah, I'm telling you. If I see any sign of that as a father, grandfather, I'm probably gonna say, yeah, you.
But I will say this though, Bruce, you did give me if that is my daughter, I'm definitely gonna pay attention to some shit like that. Like, hold on, man. Like, hey, I'm gonna have to go have a conversation with her, like, hey, bro, why are you dragging your feet on this? You know what I mean? Y'all got shit that needs to be done. Man up.
Thank you.
True.
I think we have to.
I don't expect my daughter to do that.
No, she shouldn't. We have to do that. That's what a village used to be. But we don't really have the nuclear family like that for real. But that's what they used to do. Remember how you said when a man, back in the time when it was a village, a man used to do wrong, the brothers used to come and get him in line.
Yeah.
I forgot the phrase you said. We supposed to be able to check and to the women's part that we be arguing with, we don't have men. That phase or that era is gone. That used to be a useful tool to keep dudes in line. Like you wasn't you wasn't hitting on your woman. She got brothers and uncles and fathers and grandfathers that gonna come check you. You were handling business. You weren't out here running the streets, not taking care of your kids. We was telling you better come get your kids, man. Like we don't have that. Like that's a different era, and that's what I'm saying. Like I know we on the other side, on the women's side, we got to bring back shame. But we do also got to start checking each other as men too. And I think those two things will make a huge difference.
So let me let the audience know something real quick, because I just saw this in the chat. Because they like, man, y'all believe her story and all of this. It doesn't really matter. We're basing our position off her story. We can't go down the what if rabbit hole and all that other shit. The only person that knows whether her story is true or not is her. All we're doing is giving commentary on what should happen if her story is the truth.
Yeah. Like, because at the end of the day, how many skits we react to, right?
And they all
impromptus and shit. Nobody said nothing about that when we beating the women across the head.
Their marriage is over, motherfucker. What are you talking about? Talking about them stay out of other people's marriages. There ain't no damn marriage. I'm so girl, go ahead and end the damn live, man. These motherfuckers tripping.
You gotta do like Russell Westbrook. These niggas tripping.